Okay, hello guys. So today we'll be playing the Hakuryu. I'll show you how I play. So let's first look at the team comps. So I see that the enemy is a Hakuryu. They have Montana, Yamato, Missouri, Tirpitz. And now the important part is to look at their cruisers. So their cruisers are Henry IV, Hindenburg, Neptune, and Atago. So I know that the Neptune's AA is very dangerous, so I just have to stay away from him, while the other cruisers aren't very dangerous unless they have defensive fire up. Now I need to look at their destroyers. So you can see a Khabarovsk, Benson, and Z-23. All of them are easy targets except the Cab, where I have to make specific aim adjustments to hit him. So let's see. I launch my torpedo bombers first, because I believe that I can get a quick strike off before his fighters show up. So I launch fighters second, so I can protect my teammates if the enemy Hakuryu decides to go for one of my teammates. So I try and guess where my Grozovoy and Fletcher are going to be, so I send fighters over to cover them if they need it, and I start moving towards the north, because I see that we're probably going to grab B and C cap, and I'll be safe back there. So currently nothing has been spotted, but always remain vigilant when you're playing carrier. So, okay, there. I see he has fighters there. I spot the Benson and Hindenburg, but I back off because I know his fighters are coming. So now do you notice that you count 1, 2, 3 fighters, 4 fighters? That means the enemy Hakuryu is playing 4-2-2, which is the AS loadout. I am playing 2-3-3, which is the balanced loadout. So what the enemy Hakuryu is doing is a huge mistake. He's grouping all his fighters together in one spot, which makes it really easy for me to strafe him. So I decide to bait him. I lock with a single squad, so he clicks them all. I set up a strafe command, and then I exit strafe, killing all his planes. So right there, the enemy Hakuryu made a huge mistake, and that was blobbing all his fighters onto one of mine, and he was in my friendly AA, and he did not anticipate that I would exit strafe. So now I have a free hand for about 1 minute and 30 seconds. So I start looking for targets. So I look down south. The Missouri Tirpitz and Henry IV are too close together for me to attack, so I don't risk it. So I spot the Benson again, but he's too close to the Montana. So, oh, do you see that? Do you see the torpedo bombers up north near the A8 and A7? He's trying to attack my carrier directly, so I bring my fighters back immediately. I also, in my captain skills, I specifically have brought manual AA, so my long range AA is extremely powerful, and I can defend myself against any attempts on my carrier. So I notice that Tirpitz has moved away from the Missouri, so I get in a strike while my fighters fly over to block his attack. So here's a drop. Really good hit. 12 bomb hits and 2 fires. So that will either force a damage control or he will have to let it burn. So looking at the damage counter, it appears that he put the fire out. So I drop torpedoes on him and I control what's going on over my carrier. His fighters are there to intercept, but it's too late because my bombers have already dropped and the Missouri's dead. I pop defensive fire, so he can't land any good hits on me. So yeah, the Hakuryu loses his whole strike wave, and his fighters were too late to interrupt my strike. So he's failed in his job as AS to protect his team. So I noticed our Grozovoy is alone, and fighters are about to spot him. So I try to cycle my planes as fast as possible so I can give some support to him. So his fighters are now air spotting me, but it doesn't really matter because none of their ships can take a good shot. So I noticed that the enemy carrier is making the same mistake again. He's grouping all his 4 fighters into one spot, which is very stupid and is a really easy strafe. I launched my torpedo bombers first because I think that I can catch out somebody better with those than the dive bombers. So I bring my fighters over to try and draw away the fighters from the Grozavoy so he stays unspotted. I set up a strafe because he isn't paying attention, and I kill a good chunk of his planes. And he locks. So this is kind of bad, but I exit strafe immediately so I don't lose my whole squad. I pull it back to my carrier and I hope that he follows me back because my ship AA is extremely strong. But it doesn't look like he falls for it. So he starts to go after my dive bombers. I pull my dive bombers back because I don't want to lose them for free. And I keep my torpedo bombers to keep going. So he's grouping all 3 of his fighters that are left onto my single dive bomber. So I bring my dive bomber closer to my carrier and where my fighter is waiting. So I sacrifice my dive bomber squad to strafe his fighters. And I actually don't lose the dive bomber squad. I only lose the 4 planes. So I'll just recycle it. And he just lost all his fighters. So I have another 1.5 minutes of free strike. So at the moment, I'm looking for a good target, and I decide that I'm going to go attack the Khabarovsk. So here, you have to be careful when you drop the cap because he goes faster than your torpedoes. So you have to drop in a way that it is very close to him, and you have to lead a lot so he has no chance to dodge. So here I cross him from 3 angles, and he can't dodge. So 1, 2, I only get 2 hits, but he's pretty badly damaged, and that's enough because my team can deal with him much easier now. I defend my Montana from this torpedo bomber, but it appears it's going to die, and he's going for the Izumo. I immediately kill it, and I go onto the dive bomber to prevent him from attacking my team. So I pull back my fighter from the dive bomber because it's starting to fly over the Hindenburg, so I don't want to lose planes for no reason. I bring my dive bombers over to probably attack that Tago, which is low, and I want to finish him so my team can focus on other targets. Even though you can't see it right now, I'm holding Alt to check if he's using defensive fire. Okay, so now his fighters are coming, so I immediately pull back. And I try and run. Here, I anticipate a strafe, so I try and wiggle around so I don't get hit if he does decide to strafe, but it doesn't look like he is. So I'm just going to strafe and scare off his planes. Okay, so his fighters are coming to try and latch onto mine, but I bring my planes over to the GK, which has decent AA. And if I fight over him, I win the air battle. So I lock. He does the same error again, and he puts all his fighters in one spot. And then this time I just strafe and exit strafe, and he loses his planes again. So I bring my dive bombers over to attack the Yamato because he is exposed and he has no AA cover at all. because the enemy Hakuryu just lost all his fighters. So that's a good hit. 8 hits and 2 fires. So it appears he immediately damage control party. And I know Japanese battleships have only 10 seconds on their damage control. So I just wait a little bit, then bring my torpedo bombers in to set a flood and kill him. So here comes a drop. This drop could have been done better, but I did not want to hesitate and allow the catapult fighters to ruin my drop even more. So this is very nice because I got 3 floods, and he doesn't have damage control ready, so he will most likely flood out. So notice how the enemy Hakuryu, even though he's playing AS, he appears to have lost the air battle. It's because he did not play the air battle very well, and I just outplayed him by either baiting him into friendly AA, baiting him with my own fighter, and then strafe and exit strafe, or just him making huge mistakes, and I just beat him. So it appears the Yamato is going to flood out, and I'm probably going to get a liquidator for it because he was around 50k HP when I flooded him. So there's a liquidator. Okay, so the enemy Hakuryu, his fighter squad seemed to be depleted, so it looks like I did a good job to shut him down. I just lock his fighter here. No reason to strafe because that'd be more of a waste of ammo. I see his dive bomber squad and I want to go strafe it, but he pulls back. So I only managed to kill the torpedo bomber squad that only had 1 plane in it. So the game is about to end, but you could clearly see that what I was doing and how I explained it very clearly on how to play a high tier carrier very well. So I hope you guys enjoyed it, and that's it for today.